G'day, I'm Scott Phillips, the Motley Fool's Chief Investment Officer here in Australia, and welcome to the latest episode in the Motley Fool YouTube series we call What I've Been Reading. As I've said in plenty of times in this series before, our team tend to be voracious readers. They tend to be very inquisitive, very curious. They want to learn and they want to share it with our members, and in this case, with our viewers as well. Not an extra burden for the guys, not least in the reading, maybe in the presentation, but it's really all about taking what we're already doing and learning ourselves and sharing it with a wider audience. And today I have Motley Fool Portfolio Manager Chris Copley. Chris, g'day.
G'day, Scott. How's it going?
Mate, I'm very, very well. Thank you. I hope you are too. You have been reading one of my favourite sources of fantastic investment and business information. It's not a thing, it's not a single thing, or at least it doesn't sound like a single thing. It is a they, it is a them, it is Warren Buffett's letter to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders. Now, I'll disclose up from a Berkshire Hathaway shareholder for what that's worth. But you've also done it in a particularly interesting way. You've committed to reading as much as you can, one letter a day, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I set myself this challenge a little while ago, and I will say I restarted visiting the Berkshire Hathaway letters a couple of months back, and I aimed to read a letter a day for most days over that time frame. I've missed a few, but I've tried to do it as well as I can. But I do have to say, I think the timing of when I started reading it was actually rather convenient, considering the volatility in the market at that time. Because if there's, I guess, one thing that Buffett does exceptionally well, and it's that he never loses sight of what's important for investors over the long term. In fact, I guess there are a couple of letters written in years where markets were, in some pretty tough times that, and in those letters, he barely makes mention of the broader economic conditions or the stock market returns in that year a lot of the time. So, even when the market around him's panicking, his mind's constantly focused on what's important. And I think it's certainly calming to see this and read these reports in times of market panic. It's just, it helps remind what's important and that it doesn't really matter what the economic news of the day is for our long-term investing type goals, whether it be tariffs, inflation, pandemic. The performance of Berkshire Hathaway had nothing to do with Buffett and Munger successfully predicting any economic event. It really just came down to long-term driven business and fundamentals focused investing decisions, and I think that's something that's really set Buffett apart from many, and has been a real key driving point behind his success over so many years.
A great summary. Of course, Charlie Munger unfortunately died last year, and Buffett has, maybe even while you're reading the letters, announced he is going to step down as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway from the end of this calendar year. So very much a changing of the guard, and perhaps while Buffett's investing track record will be the thing he's most remembered for, pretty close behind, I think, is his willingness and desire to help, to teach, to pass on some of that wisdom, and primarily through these shareholder letters. I'm loath to ask the question, mate, because there must be, 40, 50 years of them? So you've undertaken a big task, but also trying to work out what it tells you, or what you kind of found from it. Are there any particular highlights or themes or takeaways? What have you kind of taken away from that reading journey?
Yeah, there's so many things that I can say about this. There's so many lessons from so many letters. I think one of the most important things to obviously take from it is really the underlying investment approach that he applies, and how exceptionally clear it is, and really, well, quite simple, I guess, the underlying investment philosophy that he has. And it's essentially he looks for businesses with economic characteristics that are ranging from good to great. That's the first one. Run by managers ranging from great to great. That's the second one. And he seeks to purchase these businesses at a sensible price. That's the third. So, there are, of course, nuances to each of these different things, but it's clear that this, philosophy is something that he consistently lives by. Even, whenever he discusses new businesses that he's purchased in any given year, he justifies his purchases by discussing, the exceptional management team involved with the business, and discussing why he thinks this business will, provide durable earnings and grow its earnings over the long term. This is just something that he was uncompromising around in his many years of investing. I'll add one more, and I think this is focused, I guess, upon the second one that I was saying. So how it's run by managers ranging from great to great, and I think one thing that I noticed in one of the letters in the early 2000s was how Buffett discussed how in 37 years the business did not have a CEO of one of its operating businesses elect to leave and work elsewhere, and that's just it's a truly incredible statistic, and it's incredible retention, and it's really testament to both his ability to find and invest alongside management teams who are truly passionate with what they do, and incentivizes them to continue to perform for the business, and that they don't feel restricted in their actions as well by head office, which was a big important part of the operating model, of the decentralized operating model, I guess, of Berkshire Hathaway over many years. And I think it's important, and it's something that investors often miss the importance of when it comes to Buffett's success, because a common quote that is often attributed to Buffett is, and I've got it written down here. Here it is: when a management with reputation for brilliance tackles a business with a reputation for poor fundamental economics, it's the reputation of the business that remains intact. Now, obviously it's very important, and finding businesses with, good to great economic characteristics is a really key component of his investment philosophy. But often this quote is used in a way which suggests that management just is not all that important, which is certainly not his intention from the quote. So, reading through dozens of letters, it becomes very clear, and he consistently praises the work and the capabilities of his team, and that his ability to, I guess, invest alongside great management teams, it really is a critical component behind the success that he's gained over all these years at Berkshire Hathaway.
I like that, mate. And two, I think you've kind of alluded to the fact that as much as Berkshire Hathaway is considered about its Buffett or it's the businesses, the bit in between is both the management, but also the culture, right? The culture of the conglomerate, which on one hand is distributed kind of responsibility, the hands-off approach that Buffett takes is absolutely true in an operational sense, but in a cultural sense, it's something that really does weave its way very clearly through. And Buffett leaving Berkshire talked about the fact that he thinks the culture of the business is set for another 50 years because it's been built and run a particular way.
Yeah, big time. And I think this is something that's obviously particularly important right now with the changeover of the new CEO, with Greg Abel taking over. And I think certainly we've seen over decades that what Buffett's really good at is finding great management personnel who will lead the business well. And I think this is a very important decision, obviously, for him. And I have no doubt that he's found the right person for the right job, and that culture will be maintained, and the same investment discipline and philosophy will be maintained even when Buffett steps down for a long time to come.
Nice. Now, you can get these letters in a couple of different ways. There's the Essays of Warren Buffett, which is a book edited by, I think, Lawrence Cunningham. Do I remember that correctly? Or you can just jump on the website, the BerkshireHathaway.com website, and get letters there for free. I'm curious as to how you think the book is arranged by topic area. The letters are arranged purely chronologically. You read them however you want, but effectively you read them by year rather than by topic. How have you chosen to do it, mate? And what do you kind of think of the two approaches as our viewers think about maybe getting into them themselves?
Yeah, well, I certainly think that there's benefits to just doing it by the book. The original book is certainly simpler. You'll get it through it quicker, and it's structured in a way which is easier to read. Sorry, I'm just having some problems with the microphone here, Scott. But
mate,
I think that's certainly a good way to do it. Otherwise, going from letter to letter, it's good to actually sort of track the history and see the decisions that have made and see what's gone on beyond that. How it went through a bit later on when he revisits the investment several years later. At the same time, I mean, there's ways and things you can do to even shorten this. I mean, you don't necessarily have to read every single letter. There's lots of, I guess, repeat highlights over the years. The philosophy's really stayed the same, right? So you do hear a lot of the same stuff over the years, and if you can, even just pick a few letters here and there, you'll ultimately get a lot of the most important bits and information about what he does, how he does it, and what's driven his success over a number of a long period of time. I actually had a colleague ask me a few weeks ago, what was your favourite Buffett letter?
I'll ask you that one. Okay, what was your answer?
I jumped in there.
No,
my favourite one was actually the 1993 letter. So if there's any to do, I'd start there. He discusses a lot in this one. One of the main things that he talks about is how how he evaluates risks. So there's a lot on that in there. There's some great stuff on corporate governance in there as well. Some information around, one of the most important elements of his investment philosophy, and that was stay within your circle of competence. There's some good quotes in there around that as well. And I think that's a good starting letter. If there's any, if you only have time to do one, there's the one.
Nice. I love it. So if you want to dip your toes in and just get a sense of whether or not the rest are worth reading, Chris reckons start with a 1993 letter. Again, berkshirehathaway.com, you can find that. Again, if you want to buy the book organised by topic, you can do that as well. I've done both. I think I'll probably just for another version of the book. They update it every couple of years when they add a couple of letters to it. So I dare say Buffett's last letter, I assume he's going to write one more next year. Maybe he's already done it. I'm not sure. Fascinating to see how he finishes off his career at Berkshire. But there is so much value in those letters. Do yourself a favour, literally for free on the website, or for pretty much, almost free on the book itself. There's so much investing detail. Business, if you're just running a business, by the way, lots of great stuff there too. Chris, thanks for sharing the Warren Buffett letters with our audience. Thank you for watching. Thanks for spending a bit of time with us. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, can you do us a favour? If you hit like on this video, it's good for Chris's ego, it's good for my ego, but it also helps a lot more people find this particular series, this video itself. It's the best way it kind of pops up in the YouTube algorithm. That'd be great. We'd appreciate it. Hope the other people will benefit from it as well. And if you are enjoying it, make sure you hit subscribe just under the video here somewhere. Smash the like button, apparently the kids say. But subscribe, which means that basically you're on your list of things to watch. And the notification bell beside it. We're publishing 2 or 3 videos a week now on YouTube. Enjoying doing it very, very much. And if it's useful to you, we think hopefully if you're watching this and you've got this far through it, it is. Whether it's Stocks in Focus, Stock of the Month, what I've been reading this particular series, we're going to do some YouTube lives, lots of great content, Motley Fool TV. We're really trying to grow the YouTube content. So if it's going to be useful to you, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and we'll be able to see you when we chat next time. Until we do, thanks for watching and Fool on.